Real Cuff Radio is about to begin.
I am a child of God. I'm no
Everybody
longer
loves a
a
hero.
slave to fear.
I believe there's a hero in all of us.
I am a child.
Welcome to Real Cuff Radio. And this afternoon, we have R Squared Productions, producer and director on the line. And we're going to be talking about his latest movie, which is coming out. It's going to premiere June 8th, and he'll tell us more about that. But I wanted to mention a couple of the other movies. I've actually seen two. It looks like he's done four. But I've seen Flag of My Fathers and New Hope, and enjoyed both of them very much. They were family movies. And the other movie that he's done, well, he did one called Desire of the Heart, and he also did one, The Price of Freedom. Well, first of all, before I introduce you, Rodney, I want to say that, I served. My father was in the military. My father's father, or my grandfather was in the military, and his father was in the military, and my father-in-law was in the military, and I want to tell you thank you for serving.
Well, thank you, Todd. It's a pleasure to be on your show today. And yeah, as a veteran, veteran issues are really close to my heart.
Yeah, and from what I saw on the Flag of My Father, that was an issue that really touched a lot of veterans and was something that needed to be filmed.
Yeah, we always just call it Flag for short. Flag is a film that, it looks into the lives of veterans and some of the issues that they commonly deal with. But, I guess the overriding or the point of the movie that gets the message of the title at least is I went to a funeral of a friend of mine whose father had passed away, and he was a World War II veteran. This was years ago. And before I wrote the film, obviously. But at any rate, when they presented the flag to the family, they really didn't know who to give it to, I guess. There was a little bit of confusion, or at least it appeared to me. And 4 sets of hands reached out to get that flag. And I realized at that moment that my dad was a World War II veteran. He was still alive then. I realized that having a brother and a sister, my mom had already passed away, that there'd be a flag presented at my father's funeral. And I probably wouldn't get it because I'm the youngest of the family, but I was the only veteran of his children. And so he and I had a unique relationship because of that. And so that was kind of what the gist of the movie was about this flag and the importance of it, what it symbolized in the lives. Some people cared about it, some didn't. And that was a great way to take that message and then wrap the Christian message that we like in our movies within that.
Yes, and your logo basically is life-changing movies or life-changing films. And I have to say there is a bottom line message, but within your movies, but it's what people need to really hear and see nowadays. Flag of My Father, you had. I know John Snyder was in it. You had William DeVay in it.
Yep.
There were a couple others.
Yeah, Bill Devane and John Snyder were the big two names in the film, right? We had some other talented actors in there as well.
Yeah, so, we're not talking about little cheapy homemade movies. These were actually very good. And if people have not seen them, I noticed on your website, r2films.net, you can go there and purchase them. And it looked like they were all under like $10 or something, which is basically the price of a film now. So your whole family can see it for the price of what you'd go see it in the theater for. So,
right, yeah, the DVDs are very reasonably priced, and yeah, all of our products are there, all of our films, and we got, like you said, we have several different titles for people to choose from.
All right, so now let's talk about Cowboy and Indiana.
Yeah, we're real excited, Todd, about this film. It's a bull ride movie, and really the message in this film, because like you said, our company motto is make life-changing films. So one of the messages, I describe our movies like a diamond, that they're multifaceted, and it depends on where you view it from to what you see, which you bring into it. Like, for example, in Flag, if you're a veteran, you're going to really appreciate the veteran message, and et cetera, et cetera. So with Cowboy in Indiana, it's the same way. It's a bull riding movie. So if you're a fan of the sport, we've got the biggest names in the business. We got Cody Lambert, Justin McBride, Chris Shivers, J.W. Hart. This is like the who's who of bull riding, and one of the top bulls in the world, and Seven Dust. And so you can't, for a football analogy, this would be like saying Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Bill Belichick. These are the level of these names. So we have the bull riding part is really legit. They really helped us understand the sport of bull riding, and to be able to really pull those things off, they were extremely difficult. But inside of that, the movie is about the value of mentorship. And so, in my experience, everybody, needs to have healthy mentors in their life. One of the stories I tell is I spent a lot of time doing research for these films, and went down to Angola. And actually, my wife and I spent an entire day at Angola researching parts for this film, because one of the characters is recently released from jail. And I was talking, Todd, to an inmate now in Angola. Most of the prisoners there will have 50-plus year sentences. A lot of them die there. These are, it's a maximum security prison. And so as we were touring around and talking to different prisoners, and they were giving us a lot of access to a lot of places, I had a chance to interview a young man. I don't know how old he was. I didn't ask that, obviously, but I would guess he was around 30. And I asked him if he had ever had a mentor, and he said no. And I didn't really know if he understood the question, so I kind of followed it up by saying, maybe somebody that invested in your life, like a football coach or a basketball coach or a teacher or a family member or something like that. And he just said, no, man, I've never had anything like that. And before I could ask my next question, Todd, he said, hold on a minute, that's not true. I did have mentors. They were just the wrong kind. And so that was a very powerful statement that resonated with me. And I realized that we're all mentors to somebody. And it's kind of like Jesus said, go and make disciples, And so I do believe in the value of mentorship. One of the statistics that I've discovered while doing research for the film is that 80% of incarcerated males grew up in fatherless homes. So the one thing that's more important than a mentor is to have a father in your life. And obviously both of these need to be healthy individuals. But so in the movie, as the Cowboy in Indiana is about a bull rider who has to mentor a young African-American kid, and I picked that because of the diversity of the cultures. So that's how the bull riding even came about. And so, but on top of that, the young man, Indiana, his father is trying to work his way back into his life. And so it's a really great story of how all of these worlds are colliding between these different cultures and different individuals.
Well, I went to a bull riding college. I was actually there for aviation, but that was a big part of the school. So I know a lot of people I went to school with and friends of mine are going to watch it just because of that, because that was a huge part of our school. But one thing I wanted to mention was, if they would go and check out your Facebook, all the way through the process, I watched as you would put up, okay, this is what we're doing in filming, and here's how it works. And it was actually a very neat process you did, because you kind of let everybody in on what exactly was happening and what's next, stage by stage.
Yeah, we like to, part of our deal is to grow the arts in our community. And so that's one way I do it, is by kind of blogging about what's going on and, what the process is like and how they can understand it better. Because what I've learned is that, film and filmmaking is is extremely complicated and not understood by most people, even though we all spend a lot of time watching either television or movies. I didn't even get into the movie making process at all until I was in my 40s, and so it was kind of a thing that was added very late in my life, and I didn't know I had a knack for writing until I started doing that. I'd never written before then, and so it was kind of a new thing for me, and I've had to go through the same process of learning this by being around others that had those skills. And so that's kind of the norm, though, in the film industry, is that some people do go to school for different things, but most of them learn on the job. You know, they learn by the trade, by being involved in the trade. And so that's a big fun thing we like to do, is kind of let people kind of see behind the curtain, I guess, and see what we're doing and how we're doing it and why we're doing it.
Well, you know, I have a lot of actors and different directors and stuff that follow the show. And, you know, like I said, it would be worth them going back and looking at your Facebook and going back to about when you started the process. And you know, you never know what little tip you're going to pick up.
Yeah, you know, and I've learned from everybody that's been around me, too. It's from the most experienced actors, and you know, when you work with a guy like Bill Devane, who's been in the business his entire life, you know, 50 years of you know, being in movies and such, and here he comes in with basically a new director and a new filmmaker, and wants to and agrees to be a part of the project. It was a really cool experience, but at the same time, he was able to, you know, give me some great advice on certain things too, and he did it in a very constructive way. So, but I learned stuff from people, you know, regardless of how many years they've been in the industry, because that's just the way it is. It's a business where people are really open to help and teach others, because it's unique. Filmmaking is unique to me of anything I've ever done, because that it's kind of very compartmentalized, where that people just do certain aspects. But you know, you're familiar with that saying, it takes a village to raise a kid. I always say it takes a village to make a movie, because no matter what you do, you can be involved in the filmmaking process, and no matter what your background is, there's a place for you to be involved. Like, for example, in bull riding, well, we had to have people that understood bull riding. So we spent a lot of time learning that and being around people. But not only that, we had to have people that taught us how to properly dress bull riders, how they actually carried their gear, how they talked, how they walked. I mean, I know some of that may sound silly, but for it to be legitimate and for fans and moviegoers to appreciate it, it has to be that way. When I, you know, as a veteran, I understood the proper protocol for doing things in a veteran movie. So that was, and I can't stand personally to watch a movie, since I was in the Navy. If I watch a movie that's about about a Navy ship or whatever, for example, Top Gun, and I love that film, but if it's not done properly, I lose respect for the film immediately. So we're big about doing our research and getting all those different people involved. And so, yeah, some of them are just learning by watching us, and then we're learning by watching them. But it really does take an entire group of people. It's one of the most amazing things about this community where we live, the support we get from so many different aspects of different people and how they support what we do. It's really a blessing to be involved in the entire filmmaking process here.
Okay, so I know your premiere is coming out June 8th, and at that point it's going to be released where?
Well, yeah, on June 8th here in Tinseltown in West Monroe, Louisiana. We're going to show our premiere that night, and we got a packed house for that, and then we're following up the next day, Saturday and Sunday, by showing it several times, and then the following weekend too. And we may add some additional showings. This basically, though, Todd, is just us giving back to our community. This is not our distributors showing the film. This is us showing the film as an independent filmmaker, which makes it a little bit unorthodox, so to speak. You can only buy tickets through our website and et cetera, because it's not, even though it's being shown at the theater. It's not being shown by the theater. It's being shown by us inside the theater. So their policy is that we have to sell the tickets. So people have to go to our website, r2films.com or r2films.net. We have both domains, so either one works. But if you go to our website, you can pick up the tickets. You know, the regular showing tickets are only $10, and you go in there, and I promise you, it's going to be money well spent.
And then what about when you go to do distribution? Do you know how or what company you're going to be using, or how they can actually get the film?
Yeah, and that's a great question, and one everybody wants to know the answer to. Our film is currently being evaluated by various distributors to see what interest they may have in the film and how they would like to distribute it. Obviously, we would love for our movie to be released in theaters all across the United States. That's very difficult for independent filmmakers to accomplish, but that's the goal, and we're hoping for that, and we hope to have some news about that in the upcoming weeks. But for right now, it's just going to be shown here locally. Typically with films like this, either you're able to get the theatrical release. If not, you end up going to Netflix and those kind of things, and maybe some DVD sales. DVD sales aren't the big thing much anymore because everybody wants to stream movies. So whatever your favorite streaming service is, it'll be available at those locations as well. And, that'll probably happen later on this year as we kind of work through that process with the different distributors.
Well, right now they can actually go to your website and see the trailer to the movie, which is very good. And you can see the trailer, and you can see a bunch of teasers that we put out that just kind of show little clips of the different actors and little 30-second clips from here and there. Kind of gives you a good feel for the movie. One of the things that I'm most pleased with about this film is the acting. All of these actors, for the most part, are new and up-and-coming actors, but I would put this acting in this film, when combined, is better than any of our previous films, and that's saying a lot because we've had some really good acting. We did a lot of research trying to find the right people for these roles, and we were able to get people that really make it work. Because if you have an actor that struggles, then the film struggles, obviously. But here, you've got the component of the story, which we believe the storyline is very good. Everybody that's read the script has been very complimentary of it. And then you have the acting aspect. The people that have, watched the film and seen the acting are just astounded by how well these actors have done. And then the cinematography in this film is outstanding. It's just a beautiful film. It really, really is. It's very cinematic. So we're very happy with that. So all the components are there, and they kind of all come together, And so we think we really have something special. All right. Well, I don't want to take up a lot of your time, but is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think that's what we've covered is it. And, again, just what we want people to do is go to our website at R2Films, the letter R, the number 2, and the word films, film plural, .com. Go to r2films.com, and if you're in the area, purchase a ticket and come out and see it. Or just go to our, you can go to our Facebook pages. We have a bunch of them for either R Squared Productions or just my personal page at Rodney Ray. And like you say, send me a friend request and come in and see and just check it out and tell your friends and neighbors about it. And I do think that people are really going to enjoy this movie. And so we're just trying to, as a small independent film company, it's difficult for us to have that big that big publicity that we need. So anything we can get is a big help.
All right. Well, Rodney, I really appreciate you coming on, and I will also keep up with you. So when you do figure out how it's going to be distributed or whatever, then let me know, and I will be glad to put it on the show. So.
All right. So thank you so much, and have a great day, okay?
Thank you, sir. That's a wrap.
Okay. All right, brother. Appreciate it, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate you coming on, Rodney.
Yeah, tag me to that on Facebook, okay?
I'll do it. Thank you.
Okay, buddy. All right, bye-bye.
Hey, this is Real Cuff, and I want to thank you for listening. Please like and subscribe. YouTube completely removed our channel for a couple of years, but now we're back. Thank you.